You're listening to Civic Media. You can tune into any of our live shows on any radio station across the state with the Civic Media app. Find us in your phone's app store and listen anytime, anywhere. This is your WGBW Daily News Roundup for the Talk of Green Bay, 97.9 FM and 1590 AM.
For 97.9 WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. It's a day of action in local child care centers across Wisconsin. Many are not open in protest for the loss of state funding. Here's Terry Barr.
Corrine Hendrickson is the owner of Little Explorers in New Glarus, and she says she's just one example of those who may be forced to close for good.
I am likely going to be one of them. My rates are going to have to go up another $30 a week. I don't think all my families can afford it. I don't think I can replace them. So even those families who can afford the extra money every week because they have better jobs, they're going to lose me because I can't stay open.
Lawmakers cut $480 million out of the state budget meant for the Department of Children and Families, which supports these child care programs.
Organizers of the shutdown are also planning to rally at the state capitol on Tuesday. With the exception of only a few southern counties, most of Wisconsin is under high, very high, or extreme fire danger today. The northernmost counties are considered to be in red flag conditions. Hot temperatures, very low humidity, gusty winds, and exceptionally dry vegetation from ongoing lack of rain can result in catastrophic fires. These conditions will continue through today. The DNR predicts a chance of some moderating conditions later in the week. Last week, the Green Bay City Council voted unanimously to fund the 13 Conservation Corps members fired after the Trump administration and the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, suddenly cut AmeriCorps programs. Wisconsin Assemblyman Ahmad Rivera-Wagner.
In our Common Council, people who support Donald Trump to people who support Bernie Sanders unanimously supported this program, and we're now the only program in Wisconsin that isn't being shut down immediately. Green Bay's Conservation Corps will be able to have its members serve until August. And I couldn't be any more proud of our Common Council, our mayor, and our community who stepped up when the federal government abandoned us.
Rivera-Wagner was involved with the formation of the Conservation Corps when he was the chief of staff to the Green Bay mayor. The Green Bay Council voted to use $115,000 in ARPA interest funds to fund the program through August. Rivera-Wagner made his comments on Civic Media's Todd Albaugh Show. 5 of the top 10 Wisconsin counties for crashes involving deer in 2024 were right here in New Wisco. The Wisconsin State Patrol is reminding drivers to watch out for deer on roadways. Deer crash numbers typically increase in May and June as the does start looking for places to give birth and young deer separate from their mothers. There were more than 17,000 crashes involving deer in Wisconsin in 2024. Preliminary data shows 9 people were killed and 708 people were injured in those incidents. More and more school districts are going to referendum to fund operations. Some state lawmakers want tax obligations of those referenda to be spelled out on the ballot. Joanne Krulatz reports.
A Republican-authored bill in the Wisconsin Senate would require school districts to include a good faith estimate to the property tax impact of a past referendum on a single-family residence. Appleton Republican Senator Rachel Cabral Guevara say it would offer more transparency for voters. Opponents say it will be hard to predict the impact of referendum at the start of the process versus when it eventually goes on the ballot. The Senate Education Committee also took testimony Tuesday on related legislation to restrict how often school districts can propose operating referenda. Another bill would require school boards make textbooks, curricula, and instructional materials available for inspection by district residents.
A group of state Republicans are asking for over $2 million to study the potential for nuclear power in Wisconsin. The group is proposing legislation that seeks funding for nuclear power siting study, the creation of a full-time position focused on pursuing nuclear power options, and the organization of a nuclear power summit at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Another proposed bill would create a 9-member board that would meet 3 times every year until 2030 to organize the summit and promote achievements in the nuclear power field. Who is the wealthiest person in Wisconsin? A new report says there's been a change at the top this year, and Jimmy Kuska has the answer.
Wisconsin has a new person atop the leaderboard of richest people living in the state. For several years, the top spot has been held by John Menard Jr. According to Forbes, Menard, who owns the home improvement chain bearing his name, has a $21.7 billion net worth, which is now second highest in the state. Diane Hendricks of Beloit now holds the distinction of being Wisconsin's wealthiest resident at $21.9 billion. Hendricks, who co-founded ABC Supply, was born and raised in west central Wisconsin.
ABC Supply has over 700 locations nationally. The Green Bay Police Department is investigating the death of an adult female whose body was found near the 100 block of Bay Beach Road in the Fox River Friday. Police are investigating the circumstances of her death, but do not believe the community is in any danger. Her identity was not released. I'm Lisa Hale, 97.9 WGBW News. For news anytime, log on to WGBW.FM.
The Brewers with a win. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Brewers with a win over the Rays, ending a 3-game losing streak for Milwaukee. Top of the fourth, Christian Yelich, a home run to left using a pink bat with his mother's name, Alicia Yelich, engraved in the wood. Jeff Levering, FanDuel, Wisconsin.
Yelich down the left field line. Long run, Simpson running out of room and gone. Yelich goes deep on Mother's Day to tie things up. Cutter in the middle of the plate, and Yelich hits number 7.
William Contreras also homered. The Brewers with a 4-2 victory after a long weekend in Tampa. Manager Pat Murphy ejected Friday night, and weather delays every day.
I mean, this environment is tough. Threatening rain all the time. The mound's rugged. It's just a different environment than they're used to. So I'm proud we're in every game.
The crew heads to Cleveland tonight. NFL, the Packers back at work today for their off-season program. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Rarely does an 11-year-old title with not-so-great reviews get a second chance. But that is not the case with Reacher, Never Go Back. It doesn't hurt that the star of the film was Tom Cruise, or that the episodic Reacher, starring Alan Ritchson, is a big hit for Amazon Prime Video. How much do people like the Reacher franchise? Never Go Back is over 10 years old, got a 37% on Rotten Tomatoes, but still managed to somehow crack the top 10 on Prime Video, coming in at number 9 last week. I actually really liked it. The current Reacher, Alan Ritchson, and his manager, Dan Spilo, have parted ways, and apparently for good reason. Spilo was officially thrown off a movie set by Human Resources for bullying and yelling at crew members. It was at this time Alan Ritchson also fired him as his manager. Spilo was also a contestant on Survivor years ago and was dismissed immediately for being too touchy-feely with other contestants. What a guy. Do you know someone who doesn't have a podcast? Didn't think so. That's how popular they are, and they will be recognized this year as a new award category at the Golden Globes. The Best Podcast will have 6 nominees chosen from the most listened to podcasts that celebrate creativity and storytelling. The 83rd Golden Globe Awards will air on CBS on Sunday, January 11th, 2026, and will be hosted by Nikki Glaser, who also hosted last year. Comedy icon Martin Short and Hollywood icon actress Meryl Streep appear to have a romantic connection on and off screen. The couple are an item on the show Only Murders in the Building and are dating. The two 75-year-olds were spotted making out recently while taking a break from filming season 5 of the show. That's right, making out, and while cameras weren't even rolling. Ugh. Haven't you people heard of trailers? Only Murders Season 5 will premiere this summer, but there is no specific date. How would you like to be compared to a famous movie character and pocket $38,000? Sounds fun, doesn't it? Well, not if the character was Darth Vader and you're a woman named Lorna Rook, whose co-workers were the ones comparing her to the Star Wars villain after a corporate-issued personality test that was Star Wars themed. Rook was out of the room at the time when her co-workers came to the conclusion, and she quit her job a month later. Glass half full? Darth Vader does do the right thing in the end. Pamela Anderson has been an actress for the last 30 years, but has only started actually acting in the last few years. The former Baywatch personality received critical acclaim for her role in The Last Showgirl. Anderson's latest role will be in the Naked Gun reboot opposite Liam Neeson, who will play Frank Drebin. The 57-year-old Anderson and 72-year-old Neeson hit it off famously on the set and claim to have movie character crushes on each other, according to the New York Post. The Naked Gun hits screens nationwide August 1st. I'm really hoping it's good. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Mostly sunny today with a high in the low 80s this afternoon. The wind out of the south at 5 to 15. Clear tonight in the mid-50s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with a high near 78. On Wednesday, partly cloudy, 76. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Current temp 62.
That's your WGBW Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at WGBW.FM. The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.